Nice. All right. I guess fellas, just because the fellas are the ones in here so far. How are we doing? I guess I'm gonna start with you, Tyler. I know we just chatted like a little bit real quick, but tell me, do you have any like specific program questions? Do you have anything that you kind of want to chat about before we get this kind of, we'll call it mindset, which is actually something that we haven't done before, mindset call kind of ripping.
No, things are good. Still trucking along with it, a little different being away from the normal routine, but kind of working with that and still getting everything in and hitting everything I need to as best I can.
Nice, man. Are you and you said with you being back in Norfolk, you're going to be there for 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, I'll be here till the 26th of
Okay,
November.
nice. Nice,
But I got
nice.
a full gym. I got everything I need.
Yeah, that's great. And then for you, when do you guys do the Miami thing? I feel like I meant to ask this too.
January.
Oh, okay. So nice. That's actually really nice after the holidays. Are you traveling
Yeah.
for Christmas too, or no?
No, we're gonna leave a couple days after Christmas.
Okay, sweet. Sweet, sweet.
So it's family travels.
Yeah, awesome. And you sure you got no questions for me before we kind of move on?
No.
All right, man.
Nothing.
I'm gonna see Christian. Are you there still? Hopefully.
Here.
Christian, dude, I saw the cold plunge. Have you been in it yet? Uh-oh, you muted yourself, Jabron. I have to ask to unmute you. That's weird.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Talk to me about the cold plunge. Have you dumped ice in there or what?
No, I haven't used it yet because you know how we did our basement?
Yeah.
Well, I freaking drywalled over the connection for the outside water. So I'm trying to turn my water on again.
Oh no.
Like hose spigot. Yeah. So it was a whole fiasco, but I guess it's good I noticed now. But no, I haven't used it yet. I was listening looking at all your stuff on that. So hopefully maybe this week. But yeah, I'm interested to
Yeah,
hear what you got to say about the whole mindset today.
for sure, man. I'm stoked to get into that.
Because
Do you
I'm
have any
thinking,
Go ahead.
I mean, we got to see like what type of mindset you're talking about. I think I'm like understanding what you're talking about today, but you know, I was having that whole trouble mindset of I don't have to go to the gym every day.
Yeah, you definitely don't.
And I don't know, just like kind of like buying into the program, but I don't know. That's like the part of mindset that I'm struggling with, but
Cool.
we'll see.
Yeah,
what
we can. I mean, we can chat. Do you want to chat about it beforehand, or you want to hit on it after? If I don't hit on it in the chat.
No. We can after. I'll get hear what you got to say, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Love it. Love it. Okay. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pop this screen share on. Oh boy, I gotta sneeze. I feel it coming. Oh, it went away. Okay. It's gonna come back, dude. I know it's gonna come back. Okay, I'm gonna share this. Let me know if you guys can see this screen here over here. And I guess I'm gonna throw. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll go.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. I feel weird like looking over there, but that's okay. We'll just do it like this. All right. I'm gonna chat real quick today about kind of mindset. And what I'll do real fast is I'm gonna set this up here. I don't like that I'm like facing over this way. Oh boy. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's do stop share. I'm gonna switch this screen share up over here. Technical difficulties, stand by. See, I should have just done this beforehand and then we'd have been good to go. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do back to the Zoom. And then let's do this. Cool. Can we still see this? Maybe, maybe not.
Yep, we can see it.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. We're gonna chat through some mindset stuff. At any point, if you have a question or want to just chime in, just unmute yourself, interrupt me. I'm totally cool with that. And then we can kind of chat about it and hit on that stuff kind of as we go. So real quick, just a quick kind of intro bio. I've been doing these kind of in the beginning, just so that if I end up sending the call out to anybody that doesn't really know me, that they get a little bit of background before I start talking to you about your mindset and how to improve it. Cause, you know, who am I to be doing that without any sort of a background? So quick background for me, you know, 18, 19-year-old kid that was 155 pounds soaking wet. When I went to college, after I went and was a college athlete playing lacrosse with my boy Tyler over there, I finished up and graduated school and then went to Charleston and started on this like powerlifting kick. What's crazy is that the same person in each photo was spending like 2 hours a day in the gym. And neither photo, I would say, is kind of the body type that I really wanted to achieve. So the real reason that I started this body transformation program, the real reason that I started the business is that feeling like, you know, I wasn't achieving what I wanted to achieve, but I was putting in so much effort, so much time, so much energy. But, you know, as I started to kind of grow on my health and wellness journey, I found that I was just putting that energy, time, and effort in the wrong spots. So these kind of little webinars are ways that we can put more focused energy together to kind of improve from an educational standpoint so that we're able to apply a lot more of these concepts to our daily life and our fitness, health, and wellness journey. So again, couple hit key points of things I didn't know. It doesn't take 2+ hours of work in the gym so that you can achieve a goal. Understanding your body, listening to it, and working to improve it is much more effective. I'm actually learning that right now on my dunk training journey, and I can even hit on that a little bit at the end too when we talk about your point there, Christian, that we kind of hit on before. But right now, I feel like my health, wellness, body, everything is kind of the most dialed in it's ever been. But I really only train for about 45 minutes, really 30 to 45 minutes a day. And I do frequently take days off, or I'll, you know, just take a walk or do something like that. So it's not about working harder in the gym or longer in the gym. It's just about educating yourself and doing what's best kind of for your body over time. So now here's where I'm at. Definitely, like I said, feeling the best. This is my homie Jordan Smalls, who actually is a professional football player. So, you know, we're trying to strap up and stand next to him. It makes me feel small, but that's okay. You got to work out with people bigger and stronger than you if you want to get bigger and stronger, right? So here's what we're going to chat about today. Focus, motivation, how to keep it, and more importantly, why you should care as somebody who's on a health and wellness journey. So real quick, I want to start with these boring definitions of what focus and motivation are. This submission was done by my boy Johnny Tarzan, who he may even be missing this call because unfortunately he had to be on one himself. But basically what focus is boiled down to is the ability to concentrate attention and effort on a specific task or goal, avoiding distractions, maintaining clarity about what needs to be accomplished. Motivation is internal drive and energy propels you forward towards achieving your goals, whether that's intrinsic or extrinsic. So really what this boils down to is, you know, being able to stay on task and then also, you know, waking up and continuing to do those things that are helping move the needle and push you towards your goals. So really what it means, it really sounds easy. And to be honest, it actually is very easy to stay focused and stay motivated. The problem is the action steps in the right direction aren't really glamorous. They don't make headlines, and that's what really makes it hard. So if you'd imagine for a second, you know, I don't know if anybody has told you this story or you've heard of this story before. There was a father who's, you know, a multimillionaire and he's on his deathbed. Here, I'm going to take a swig of this juice real fast. Hang on. He's on his deathbed and he's got 2 sons, and he offers the 2 sons. He says, hey, I'm going to give you both the option to choose. You can have $1 million today, or you can have a penny today, and that's going to double every day for 30 days. And you know, one son is like, dude, $1 million, like, of course, like I'm absolutely going to take that. And this is kind of the path, we'll say, for the person who takes $1 million, you know? similar story to that of someone of a lottery winner. Basically, what they've done is they've taken this mindset of they've been given this gift or this big break or whatever it is, and their mindset, their body, their, I guess lifestyle, none of these things were really set up for that level of success. And I think it's really similar to people that win the lottery. Someone plays the lottery, they win multi-millions or billions of dollars, and then most of the time they end up going broke, because they don't know what to do with that money and how to be successful. And then everybody and their brother are going to hit them up and ask for some money or something from them. So really dealing with this is really difficult for somebody who's taken that $1 million and then doesn't really know how to apply it in this old fable that we're chatting about. But the son who took the penny deal, this is how their day 30 ended up. Day 1, they had 1 cent. Day 2, 2 cents. Day 3, 4, 8, 16, 32. And as you can tell, over the days, it doesn't really look like a lot, but we know kind of the law of compounding interest over time. After 30 days, he had nearly $5.3 million in the account. So, why do I bring this up? Why do I talk about this? And it's because the difference in the two people is going to be the mindset as well as their ability to kind of see what the small things can amount to over time. So we're going to talk about that really fast. So let's talk about what we think success is and how it really is. And this is like one of my favorite analogies on the face of planet Earth. What people think success is boils down to the microwave. We want to go up, we want to take our food, we want to throw that in the microwave for like 5 or so minutes, whatever it is. And we want it to pop out, be nice and warm, and then go to town. But what success really is and how it really starts to manifest in your life, this is a crockpot world, homie. Like, success is not about having this microwave result based on something that you do one time and you're able to reap all the benefits. No. It's about having that crockpot world where you're going to do those tasks every single day, and you have to wait and let that success mature and develop over a course of time. So this is something that's applicable to not only health and wellness, but to finance, but to honestly any goal that you're talking about. I mean, there's a couple. One of the guys in this call right now, Christian, I know is a pilot in the Coast Guard, right? You don't just wake up one day and they don't just give you the keys to a helicopter and let you go out and fly the helicopter around the U.S. Rescuing people, pulling you out of burning babies in the surf, if you will. So at the end of the day, any of those big goals, any of those things, your graduation from college, your high school diploma, whatever these things are, you stand there at the bottom of the mountain and you're like, wow, this is an insurmountable goal. But really, you just have to break it down into bite-sized chunks and realize that it's a crockpot world, not a microwave world. So here's a couple of things that I kind of want to talk about in general of ways that we can kind of keep things going. So let's say, you're on a fitness or health and wellness journey and you find yourself hitting a wall, you're hitting a plateau, you're starting to get demotivated, you're starting to not understand kind of the best way to move forward. So here's a way that you can start to commit and start to move the needle in the right direction, even on the days when you don't want to. And it's really, really small things. And I'm just going to go blast off through a big list of them and then kind of delve into each in more detail. So committing to a small positive action every day. This can be anything. I've actually got a couple people that are in the health and wellness journey now that are in the private coaching group that because they're having a trouble tracking their food and nutrition, I told them, hey, I want you to just snap a photo of what you're going to eat today and then send it to me. And then we're just going to talk about it. So it's something as simple and small as just building that momentum of, hey, I just did this and this is how we get to have a little discussion and then move the needle and get 1% better based on the portion size or whatever that we're seeing kind of on somebody's plate in the health and wellness space. Another thing is just reflecting on the compounding effect of consistent small steps over time. Now, what does that mean, right? Like it meant for the kid who took all the pennies is that if you looked at day 15, which maybe I can go back here, was it day 15? Halfway through, he had $163. But I tell you what, on day 1, he only had 1 cent, right? So if you're able to sit there and you're supposed to look back at where you came from and now look at where you are, even if you just got 1% better, at the end of the year, if you got 1% better for a day, you'd get 3 times better at a task. It's an unreal amount of growth that can occur in that amount of time. So realizing and taking that time to reflect is going to be something that's super effective. And I typically will find a way to do that by like journaling or reading is another really effective way. The next thing I really recommend is for you to set a SMART goal. So what is a SMART goal? Everybody talks about this in the health and wellness space. So if I'm belaboring a point that you already know about, sorry. But a SMART goal is going to be a goal that's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So if somebody comes to you or comes to me and they're like, hey, you know, I want to lose 5 pounds. It's like, sweet. That's pretty specific. And it's pretty measurable, but is it attainable? Are you somebody who is, you know, or are you a dog that's 20 pounds to start and you're losing a quarter of your weight? Is it relevant to what your goals are? Are you trying to be an Olympic powerlifter and now because you're 100 pounds, you want to lose 5 pounds and be 95 pounds and it's not going to be relevant to the path that you're trying to take? And also, did you put a time cap to it? Did you say, hey, I'm going to make this goal end now or end in 3 months so that you have something to work towards and you're pushing yourself along the way? And a lot of times, if you don't put that time cap on it, if you don't put something on there, you're never going to take steps in the right direction. You're just going to sit there and let that goal kind of continue to get kicked down the lane or kick the can, if you will. And then you'll never be able to check in with yourself. Now, let's say you meet this time barrier, you meet this time section, and you're like, wow, you know, I haven't met my goal yet. Well, the best part is that you're way closer to it because you took the time to set the goal and put it out there to the world versus you just keeping it to yourself and then kicking the can down the line. So realize that the exercise of setting these goals isn't just going to help you along the way. It's also going to accelerate your progress so that you're able to get there sooner. Next thing, I think a huge component of health and wellness is discovering your why. Oh boy. So I've got a ton of people, and actually one of my wife's coworkers actually hit her up and was like, hey, I want to like work with your husband. And she's like, sweet. And she's like, I want a 6-pack. And as much as, you know, that is a great avenue to get your foot in the door. And I'm not going to act like I'm not a former 18-year-old boy who just wanted to get shredded to hook up with chicks. But at the end of the day, like if you don't discover a why that's deeper, that's more real than you having that kind of superficial check in the box, you're not really going to be able to have sustainable results, because when you do get hit with an obstacle, when you do get hit with a lack of motivation, you're not going to have something to fall back on, or a North Star, if you will, to kind of help you keep going. So just another thing to keep in mind kind of as you're progressing on your journey is discovering your why. And for me, I want to be able to do the things I love with the people I care about for as long as I can. And that if that means I'm 85 and I'm running around and playing basketball with grandkids or great grandkids, or, you know, able to go on hikes, or I retire and I can move my body, like that's going to be a huge win. So just want to make sure that I put that plug out there too, to just think about that for yourself, discover what your kind of why is and what makes you show up day in and day out and do that work. Next one, celebrating wins, no matter how small. I kind of chatted about this before, but you know, day 15 is the penny kid. You had $163 versus day 1. I mean, you're making crazy progress, although it doesn't seem like it in the regards or relation to what your brother got when he had $1 million right off the jump, right? So, and I say that to say, celebrate your wins and don't compare your wins to somebody else's as well. So if you go on Instagram, if you go on whatever social media platform you decide to waste your time on, you're going to see people that are more attractive than you are, stronger than you are, fitter than you are. They're going to have more money than you, blah, 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 all these things. You can just go down the list, right? But part of that is, hey, let's think about, you know, you along your journey. Where were you a year ago? Where were you 3 months ago? Where were you last week? And then think about stacking those wins over time, and it just really starts to build momentum. Okay, here we go. A little bit more water. I'm talking a lot. All right. Next thing is building a support system in a community. I heard this really wise saying, and it's you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So really take a second and think about that. Who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? Are they your spouse? Are they your brothers, sisters, family members, best friends, whatever? And then think about, are they adding or detracting value from your life? Are they adding or detracting value from your motivations? Are they adding or detracting value from your ambitions and your goals? And are you able to build each other up? Or are you hanging out with the, we'll call it quote unquote delinquents that are kind of pulling you down? And I'm not telling you to make it so that you're in a room of 4 other entrepreneurs all the time that are always pushing you to do crazy stuff. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that understanding the roles of people around you can really start to benefit you moving forward. So maybe you're not hanging out with the people that are doing those things all the time. You're starting to dial those back and you're like, hey, I'm going to do this, and this because it's just aligned more with my goals. And I say that to say you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. And I say that as like, hey, if I know that Bob is a drunk or Bob is somebody who, beats his wife or whatever, I might not be able to change Bob. But you know what I can do is I cannot surround myself with Bob because Bob's habits, Bob's antics, his negativity, whatever it is, tend to rub off on you and then factor into your average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So keep that in mind kind of as you're moving forward with life, just in general. It's going to help you kind of realize the type of circle that you want to surround yourself with to really help you be propelled forward. Next one that I think is really, really great is having a mindfulness or stress management practice. So for me personally, this comes with a gratitude practice and stress relief activities. So how do you practice gratitude? Well, it's, it can be a plethora of different ways. I like to write down and I journal as often as I can. Recently I told myself and actually wrote it down in my journal the other day that I've been skimping on it and writing closer to once every, 3 or 4 days versus the every night that I was doing before. So I kind of was derailed a little bit in that gratitude practice, but I'm kind of trying to recenter and recage myself on my own journey as well. Notice how it's not always figured out. I don't have everything figured out and I don't think anybody else does. So don't let anybody fool you. But having that gratitude practice is something that I think really helps you be grounded in your journey and why you do it. So I'm grateful for all the people that are in my community here, whether that's the in-person community that I coach, whether that's the online community, the people that may or may not listen to this. Like, I'm thankful for all of you and the way that you help me become a better coach, help me give back more to other people. And realistically, like, you guys give me energy. You guys give me, purpose. I feel like I make the most impact with this community here, and it's something that I could not be more thankful for. So really understanding, like, what are those things that make you feel good? What are those things that make you thankful for, your dog, your spouse, your health, whatever your things are. Just being able to name those things are, I think, really, really huge. Next thing is having a little bit of a stress relief activity. So is that going and playing, basketball on a Thursday? Is that you go on a walk in the park? Is that skiing or snowboarding? Is that you go out and tear up the town with a couple of the boys or the girls and you have a girls or boys night? Or are you going to go watch The Bachelor? Whatever your thing is that relieves stress, realize that you need to bake that into your life instead of kick that to the curb and try for this all or nothing type of mentality when you're on a health and wellness journey, especially. All right. This is fun. This is good. So a few things I do. I know I talked a little bit about the reading and journaling practice. I hit on the journaling one, but not the reading one. So I was a kid who grew up and I hated reading. Every single time I was assigned a book in middle, high school, whatever. Actually, the funniest story is I told my mom when I was like 12 that I was going to read Harry Potter books. So I crack a Harry Potter book open and I'm reading it. And I essentially finished the book in like less than an hour, or I told my mom I did that. And she looks at me, obviously knowing that I'm full of shit. and is like, oh my gosh, you read this entire book, like that's crazy, what happened to Harry and this thing? And it was like, pivotal climax, and I like had no idea, obviously had been caught. But I realized that for me personally, those books that I was reading as a kid, and whether that's The Great Gatsby, whatever other cult classics that I could name, none of that really interested me. And the reason is because I didn't feel like it was real and connected to my purpose. So I found now that I cannot put books down anymore because I've just recaged myself to figure out what I enjoy to read. And I kind of like the self-help realm of book. I like the books that are on, financial success, ways to improve habits, like all that we'll call self-help realm. And I found that is kind of what helps me push the needle on a day-to-day basis. So I'm committed to reading every single day. I try and do like 10 to 15 minutes, and I do it in the morning before anybody else can bug me, so I don't have an excuse not to. There's some days where I don't do it. There's some days where I do it at night. There's some days where it flexes, but at the end of the day, like I want to try and be a better person, be a better coach, be a better leader in the organization that I work in. So I find that reading really helps to move that needle and helps me stay motivated because I'm reading other motivated people, trying to surround myself with their thoughts, their, ideas and ways that I can improve. The next thing I do I don't know if it's a stress relieving, it might be a stress inducing, is a cold plunge. Christian, shout out to you, dude. I hope you get yours set up soon. But the cold plunge therapy is really great. It's something that I think fires off. I've got a whole like discussion about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems that we just did actually a couple weeks ago, but it fires off your nervous systems in ways that nothing else really can. And you really have to sit there in a little bit of discomfort, which is kind of what life is about. You can't just expect to go through life in this incredibly comfortable state and do anything that's really, we'll call quote unquote worth a damn, and making your mark and having an impact on people. So I find that the cold plunge really just embodies what life is about. And sometimes you got to go through that pain, that hurt, that tough section or tough season of life. And then on the other side, I don't know if anybody who's listening to this has ever done a cold plunge, but when you get out, you honestly feel like a superhero. Like I feel like I could run through a brick wall and nothing would happen to me. So that's another way that I'm able to kind of continue to keep my motivation. And I put it out there in the world, and I have other people watch that I do it because, they're expecting that I'm going to go out there and make it happen, and be motivating for them. So it's another way that I kind of hold myself accountable into the line too. Oh, another story. So, I'm also a local lacrosse coach here in the Sacramento area. I've been doing it for a long time now, but when I first moved to California in the end of 2020, I reached out to a local club that I, knew nothing about, and hit them up and asked them for a job. Long story short, I got taken out for like a beer by the owner. Shout out to Frank Resiteritz, one of the best lacrosse players on the face of planet Earth who's ever lived, who runs our program out here. He's an awesome friend, and even better coach. But he basically wanted to vet me and make sure that I passed the would I be able to get a beer with this guy test. And thankfully he thought I was okay, so he hired me. But what I thought happened when I got hired was that I just go and, assistant coach and whatever, and I'll just show up to practices. And for me, I had done that in the past, quote unquote volunteering, and it was enough. Like I love coaching youth sports and seeing the light bulb moment in a kid when they get they score a goal or whatever happens and they come and run over to you and jump up and down. And it's like nothing better, in my opinion, than having that feeling. So you can, I guess, go or check this meme out and see kind of where I'm going with this. Is I got asked for my social security number or whatever when it come time for tax season. And I was like, what? Like, you guys are getting paid? Like, I had no idea that I was supposed to get paid doing this job. And I don't know if anybody listening to this has access to doing something like that you enjoy that much that you would still do even if you did it for free. But if you find a way to monetize something like that, it's a really incredible way to keep you kind of motivated and focused on what your goals are. Whew. Next one. group fitness. So I'm also, and I wear a lot of hats. I just wore my lacrosse coaching hat. Now I'm going to take that off and put on my group fitness hat. Another incredibly fortunate thing that happened to me and where I live. I walked across the street into this Ma and Pa gym called Urban Flex. Now it's called Urban Flex and Flow, owned by two of the most incredible trainers that I've ever met in my entire life. Bean and Heather Hera. Shout out to you guys for all that you've done for me as well. But I walked into this gym and basically was like, hey, can you give me a job? I had no coaching credentials. I had no business walking into a gym. But for some reason, in the 5-minute conversation that I had with the owner, she invited me to do a workout that she was coaching. I think she was also testing to see if I could hang with her community. And then the next day gave me keys to the castle and had me running my first class the following day, which is just absolutely unreal. The amount of, I'll call fortune that I had on that journey, as well as in this. So I say all those things to say, like, if you're able to find your why, those other opportunities will end up coming to you, or you can take a chance and then figure out what that kind of looks like for you. And it can really help you stay motivated and focused along your own journey as well. So that you're able to give back to, whether that's giving back to the local community, whether that's giving energy to your wife or kids or whatever, husband, partner, whatever that kind of looks like. So just a couple of things that I do kind of along my journey too. I talked about this a little bit before. I like to make my goals public. I like to say them out loud to my circle, the people that I spend the 5 people that I spend the most time with or energy, effort with. I like to make sure that they know what my goals are. That way they can kind of hold me to the line. The other thing that I've really started to think about more recently, as I see like even colleagues or coworkers that have a hard time moving around and moving their body around, I don't see it as I have to work out anymore. I see it as I get to work out anymore. So really what that looks like is like, hey, you have to go work out. It just sounds like a chore. It sounds like something that bores, like you would rather, I don't know. I don't want to say anything that's going to be too non-PC. So we'll just leave it at that. You don't have to work out. You get to work out. The guy who's lost his legs in war or from an IED, that guy's looking at you and wishing that he could do a back squat. He's looking at you wishing that he could run again. So honestly, practicing a little piece of gratitude and being like, hey, this is how I'm able to, progress on my journey. And I'm really fortunate to be able to move the way that I do. And I'm really fortunate to be able to, look at myself and have these goals and have these things happen. So it's really just reframing your mindset into figuring out though what that really means. I talked a little bit about discovering my why and how I did that earlier on. And I think that's really helped me make progress along this journey and stay really motivated, focused, and on task. And the other thing I like to do as well is stealing minutes back in the day. So a couple ways that you can do that, just simple ones, are like little mobility things that I like to do. So instead of sitting on the couch watching TV, what I've started to do is now I sit on the ground. What sitting on the ground watching TV does is it makes you kind of fidget and move, and you'll find that you almost just start to stretch out like on your own. So like maybe you'll sit crisscross applesauce, and then after a little bit you're like, oh, that's kind of uncomfortable. And then you'll spread your legs out, and then you'll start to like kind of bounce side to side. You'll start to move and discover kind of places that are tight. And I found that it just really is a nice way for me to be able to be more productive if and when I'm watching football on a Sunday or whatever the case may be. So I think stealing minutes back in the day like that, or, the other thing that I've started to do now is anytime I'm on the ground for any reason, whether that's, putting shoes on, whatever the case is, I try and get up and not use my hands. So I'll cross my legs and try and stand up. I'll try and swing myself up, kind of whatever that looks like. Just another little, we'll call mobility hack, but just think about the compound interest of that over time. It really, really can start to help you over the course of a health and wellness journey. Whew. The last thing I want to talk about is a compounding effect of food. And I have this little diagram here of a cell, and just kind of bear with me and I'll talk about kind of why. So if you are somebody who is struggling on a nutrition journey or struggling to understand the power of what food can do for you, I'm going to try and break down just a little bit of this really fast. So, everybody knows the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right? Like, this is the thing that you've been told since you were, in the 4th grade. But what I want to talk about is like the effect of having nutritious foods and what those nutritious foods do to your mitochondria. So, without getting too deep into the science, your mitochondria create energy for your body at all points in the day. And as you start to bring in foods that are more nutritious, it makes your mitochondria more effective at burning or creating that energy pool. And it also creates less waste. So let's imagine like you're the penny kid and you decide that you're going to start eating a more nutritious diet that has, a better spread of fruits, vegetables, proteins, whole foods. If it swims, grows from the earth, or flies, or whatever, you're kind of outside of the grocery store mentality is. What's that going to do for you over time? Well, your mitochondria get more effective, your body's better at creating energy, and then you start to alter your cellular, processes, which then at the end of the day, you start to burn more calories just sleeping. So think about all the hours that you spend sleeping or in a low energy state and how much you can really start to compound that effect over time. And just, if your desire is weight loss, or even if it's being stronger or weight gain, like think about if your body's more effective at creating energy, how much more energy do you have to bring to a workout? How much more energy do you have to perform at a higher level? So you're able to see those goals and gains like really start to take effect over time. So just something to think about, the compounding effect, compound interest, whatever you want to call it, doesn't just happen in finance, doesn't just happen in, showing up to the gym or waking up and going on a walk. It also happens in these other facets of life, like nutrition, like your relationship with your partner, like your, XYZ. You can really just fill in the blank with any big goal or aspiration that you have. Cool. So that was kind of long-winded. People that are here live, hit me if you have any questions or anything like that. I'm going to stop this screen share here. Talk to me a little bit. What we got? Tyler, you got any questions, dude?
No real questions. Definitely a lot to think about. I've definitely thought about over the past 7 or 8 weeks now. Kind of just like get into that, and like you said, like that 80-90% going to be in the ballpark. You're not going to hit 100% every day, and I think it took a while to understand that. And like that, yeah, I'm not going to go to the gym every day. Like I might have a bad day, I might miss a workout and push it to another day, but like still the longevity of it for a 12, 15, 24-week program, like you're still going to see those results.
Yeah. And, to hit on that too, it's like what you need to understand and what everybody really needs to understand is that it only becomes a problem when it starts to compound the opposite direction, right? There's no issues if you miss one workout, in a week. There's no real issues if you miss 2. But we start to miss 3, 4, 5, and we start to make that a compounding effect in the other direction. We're just starting to detract and take away from our goals. And it doesn't even mean our physical goals, because I would argue that the physical benefits of health and wellness and like working out and whatnot, those really don't start to go away until you're not touching weights or doing stuff in the gym for like a month and a half, whatever that is. But I'd argue that the mental piece is way, way worse, right? You start to have those, you're not in for 2, 3, 4 days. You beat yourself up. You feel like shit. You think less of yourself. The devil on the one shoulder is talking louder than the angel on the other, right? Like it really starts to, it happens with me too. I'm totally susceptible to it as well. So reminding yourself that, okay, we're not just going to punt the rest of the program. We're not going to punt the rest of this thing. We're going to stick with it, even if we get derailed a little bit and we come back to what I'll call equilibrium, which should be, some semblance of nutritious foods, moving your body around, or, and positive self-talk, honestly, is really what it comes down to. So making sure that you kind of have those things dialed in and that you're, asking for help in the event that you need it. Cool. Christian, you have any questions, dude? You want to chat a little bit about your I want to work out every day thing? We can chat about that too.
Yeah, no, and I was gonna say like I actually did really good today, but I don't know, Tyler just, like I was having the problem of, I would go to the gym every day, and even if it was a shitty workout, the fact that like I went to the gym, in my mind, I was like, I checked the box. I could, eat whatever I wanted, and like I was getting better because I was actually at the gym. But I'm realizing like quality over quantity for sure. Um, and like today, Blaze, like today, I had a rest day, but I went on like a 3 mile walk with the dogs, and like mentally, it actually like did the check the box. I knew like, hey, I did something today, got active. Like today's probably the best I've eaten, uh, probably like since starting the program, 3 weeks ago. I had the day off, so I just like, cooked great food. But yeah, just trying to get, past that hurdle of I don't have to go to the gym every day and go hard the workouts you give me.
Yeah, you don't, man. And I'll say another piece of this too is I should probably take some of my own advice. I came out of the gate trying to do this. I want to dunk a basketball right now, and I
Yeah.
set my smart goal, and I know I hit on this earlier in that presentation, but I set my smart goal as I want to be able to dunk a basketball by February 1st was what my goal
Yeah.
was. And in that, I want to lose 10 pounds because I think losing 10 pounds and will equate to me being able to jump higher. And then I want to build my vertical. And I think I did the math, and it was like I want to put like 8 inches on my vertical, which is a silly amount of
Mhm.
of extra we'll call bounce into my life. Um and right out of the gate, I was doing 2-a-days in the gym, or not in and out of the gym. I guess I did some of them at my house. And I was doing those 3 times a week. But when I was doing those, I was jumping the whole time. It
Yeah.
was like quick jumps, box jumps, this jumps, that jumps, whatever. And 2, 3, 4 days of it, I was okay. And then, the second week, I started to feel like and it wasn't like my body like muscularly wasn't like bad, but my feet really, really are like were getting like tight. And what I did, like any other dumb male, I think we just have this in common, probably dudes do. Just pushing through that pain and that discomfort, whatever, thinking that it was just something that would go away with me kind of working it. But I went into the overuse, and now I'm standing here, and I wish I could kick my foot up on my standing desk. I don't think it would be. We could try it. We're gonna do this live. We'll see if we can. Oh, maybe. I've got toe spacers in on my feet as I'm giving this presentation because I'm trying to alleviate the pain that I have in my feet. And, I can look at this one of two ways, right? I can't jump right now, and I'm trying to stay away from jumping right now so that I can heal up. But what I'm also doing is I'm learning, and this is part of that gratitude practice, is I'm learning how, okay, I might not be able to jump right now in my dunk training program, but how can I still continue to make a step forward? The other day, I did a dog ruck. I have a rucksack backpack, and I threw weight on it, and I walked my dog 3 miles. Boom, that's a win. I checked the box, just like you talked about earlier, and when you were just hinting on you doing your 3 mile walk today. 2, I did a lifting session where I just didn't jump. I did step ups. I did, a deadlift. I did a squat day where I did, I loaded a barbell up, which I haven't done in forever. And did 1 rep every minute on the minute for 15 minutes. And like, I'm learning ways that I can continually make continually make progress, but I'm also not doing it at the clip that is going to bury me and not allow me to make that progress over time. So I
Yeah.
say all of that to say, like, don't rush the goal. Like, I set a very aggressive goal, and that was probably something that I was like, I got so excited about it that I just went way too hard. But I'm realizing now, like, if I dial that back, like, I can actually start to make the progress. And maybe it's not until February of 2025, but I will be able to dunk a basketball. And I'm still not going to take away from that. And the greatest part is that I get to take all the stuff that I'm learning, and I get to apply it to a potential training program for somebody else who's like, hey, I want to dunk a basketball. And I'm going to be like, here you go, dude. I did all these things before, and now this is how I was able to do it. So you can try these out, and we can try and work together to do that. So again, just taking that with a grain of salt, understanding that you can check the box, and it doesn't mean kill yourself every day in the gym, because your body does need that time to repair and replenish, as well as work really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Cool, guys. Tyler, you have anything else? Christian, you have anything else?
I was gonna mention, now that I'm talking to you, mention was it yesterday? Was that my active stretch day? Yeah, it was yesterday. You had me do some of the things I did day one. Damn.
Big progress, yeah.
Like, and I even looked back, it was like 45 seconds, hold that couch sit.
Yeah.
And I could like barely do that. And now I was just like, it just felt like great. So yeah, it's crazy. Like week 3, like flexibility, which is one of the things I mentioned that I wanted to get better at. Feels good.
Dude. But think about that. Like, again, that compounding effect of like what we were talking about before. Like, if you would have looked on day 2 and been like, look, this sucks. And now you're able to look back and reflect now on week 3 about the win that you now have. That to me is that motivation piece that keeps you kind of showing up and keep going. So like, continue to do that. Continue to reflect back on. That's why I want everybody to do the weekly check-in forms and really buy in. So, and thank you to both of you for being really good with those. Like, the weekly check-in forms are a great time for you to look back at pictures from week 1 and pictures from week 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, and be like, wow, look at this change. And you don't see it every day, because you see yourself in the mirror, you see yourself do whatever, you see whatever it is, and you're like, hey, am I making progress? All you got to do is look back. You can even look back at the words that you typed in week 1 versus the words that you type in week 2, 3, 4, 5, and on. And you'll see that the more effort you're putting into that, the more you're getting out of the program. And then the better mindset, the more focused, the more like tailored all of your training becomes, and it all just really, really starts to kick off. So take that for what it's worth too. All right, guys, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. The old lady just got home too, and I hear her playing with the dog. So any other last minute things, you guys feel free to shoot me a text as always. Thank you both for coming. I'm going to send this out so that if you do want to listen to it later, you can, but it'll be available to you guys as well as the coaching group too.
Sweet, man. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We'll see ya.
Take care.